In the dense heartlands of Central Africa, where the Okanda River carved silver paths through the thick jungle, there once rose a kingdom feared and fabled across all neighboring lands. It was called Umvuma, a kingdom of wealth, mysticism, and warriors. But what etched Umvuma into the memory of time was not its riches nor its priests, it was the blood-stained legacy of its most infamous ruler, King Zuberi the Cruel. Zuberi was not born to rule. He was the third son of King Jabari, a wise and peace-loving monarch. His elder brothers, Mozi and Tindo, were groomed from childhood for leadership, while Zuberi was often left in the shadows, wild, impulsive, and burning with jealousy. From a young age, Zuberi showed signs of cruelty, trapping birds only to break their wings, punishing servants for imagined slights, and always watching, always scheming. When King Jabari died, it was expected that Mozi, the eldest, would ascend the throne. But fate, or perhaps something darker, intervened. On the night before Mozi's coronation, a fire consumed the royal hut. Mozi perished in the blaze, his body barely identifiable. The people mourned, believing it a tragic accident. Days later, Tindo, the second brother, vanished while hunting in the misty hills. All that was found was his bloodied necklace tangled in the roots of a fig tree. Fear gripped the kingdom, but no one dared to question the sequence of misfortunes. With his brothers gone, Zuberi claimed the throne. He wept crocodile tears at their memorials and wore white robes of mourning, but his eyes sparkled with victory. His first decree was to double the taxes on all farming clans, claiming the kingdom needed strength after such losses. His second was more ominous. He formed the Maboko Guard, a personal army sworn only to him, trained in brutality and black magic. These men, chosen from the most merciless tribes, became the iron fist of Zuberi's reign. Zuberi ruled not with love, but with fear. He forbade all gatherings of elders unless sanctioned by his court. Storytellers who sang songs of previous kings vanished, their tongues nailed to the gates of the capital. Children were taught to bow before his image, and anyone caught speaking his name without the title Great King faced public flogging. In the third year of his rule, Zuberi declared the Festival of Flames a celebration meant to honor the strength of the throne. But what occurred was a horror that turned the soil of Umvuma red. In the central square, 20 village chiefs accused of treason were burned alive, their screams echoing through the night while drums drowned the cumbry trees. When the pleas of the crowd, Zuberi watched from his ivory throne, sipping palm wine, a smile on his face. Despite his cruelty, Zuberi was not a fool. He built walls around Umvuma higher than any in the region, expanded trade with coastal merchants, and commissioned astrologers to consult the spirits before any military campaign. He sent emissaries to the north and east not to forge alliances, but to learn the weaknesses of his neighbors. In time, he conquered 3 nearby kingdoms, forcing their kings to kneel before him and carry his palanquin during state parades. But power breeds paranoia. As the years went on, Zuberi became obsessed with betrayal. He believed his food was poisoned and forced his cooks to eat before him. He ordered his wives to be branded with the royal symbol so that no man would dare touch what belonged to him. He executed his chief advisor, claiming he had been bewitched. Even his own son, Prince Modu, was imprisoned after a dream interpreter warned that the prince would one day wear the crown over a river of fire. As the tyrant grew older, his madness deepened. He spoke to spirits only he could see. He wandered the palace at night, barefoot, whispering to the skulls of dead enemies kept in his private chamber. One morning, the entire household of the queen mother was found slaughtered, their bodies dismembered and arranged in the shape of a serpent. Zuberi claimed it was a message from the gods. The people began to whisper, In the markets, old women spat at the ground when his name was mentioned. Farmers left their fields to grow wild rather than meet the crippling tax quotas. Rebels, calling themselves the Sons of the Drum, began attacking Maboko Guard patrols in the forest. Zuberi responded with unmatched savagery. He burned entire villages, suspected of harboring rebels, crucified their chiefs, and ordered the heads of resistance. Leaders to be displayed on pikes outside his palace. But the fire of rebellion cannot be drowned in blood forever. One fateful moonless night, the palace gates were opened from within. It was said a maid, whose brother had been flayed for stealing grain, unlocked the inner corridors. The Sons of the Drum, joined by defectors from the Mboko Guard, stormed the palace in silence. Zuberi fought like a cornered beast, killing 5 attackers with his ceremonial spear. But numbers overcame fury. They did not kill him. Instead, they dragged him through the city he once ruled, bound and beaten. He was taken to the same square where he had burned the chiefs during the Festival of Flames. There the people gathered, faces lit by torches, silent and waiting. A tribunal of elders, once exiled by Zuberi, stood before him. The sentence was symbolic. Zuberi would suffer every punishment he had inflicted on others. His back was whipped. His face was branded. He was made to walk on hot coals, and then he was locked in a steel cage hung from the ancient baobab tree, where birds pecked at his flesh and children threw stones at the man who had once ruled like a god. He died after 13 days, whispering incoherently, still calling himself king. Years later, the people rebuilt Umvuma under new leadership. His name was erased from official records. His face scratched out from all paintings and carvings. But the tales lived on in hushed fireside stories, in village warnings to disobedient children. In songs sung to teach humility, they called him Zuberi the Cruel, the king who bathed in blood and drowned in the very fear he created.